In this video, let's talk about Bitcoin and the setup on the daily chart. I'll also be going over the news, the SEC news, BlackRock, Fidelity. We have huge institutionals and banks getting into Bitcoin. We also have a bank giving it a 50,000 price target by the end of the year and 120,000 by 2024. I'm also going to be talking about the Bitcoin halving. So we have a lot to go over. We have a lot of catalysts and a lot of news going on for Bitcoin. At the end of the video, I'll be giving out my personal thoughts. I'm really a Bitcoiner, not a crypto guy. I really like the idea of being my own bank, full accountability and responsibility, open source, and kind of like anti-government, and just having like my own bank. And I really love this concept. I also actually just got a cold card wallet today. It's supposed to be the most secure wallet, but I would recommend reading a book called The Bitcoin Standard if you're looking to learn a lot more. I've read a lot of books, so I know a lot more about it. I'll probably make more videos on YouTube, but I'm really into Bitcoin. I really love the concept and the whole movement and the whole idea of a revolution without violence and just changing the way we see banks and the whole financial sector. So let's get started into this video. Subscribe with notifications on. Go to sundaystocktalk.com to sign up for a completely free newsletter. I'll be posting the video tomorrow on top stocks that I'm watching for tomorrow. We have a lot of great setups going into next week. And go to the Twitter, follow me on Twitter, and let's get started with this video. I want to talk about the news and the catalyst first. So we have BlackRock making a spot Bitcoin ETF. BlackRock, a $11 trillion firm that assets $11 trillion is looking to get into Bitcoin, which is absolutely huge because of how much money they manage. Not only BlackRock, we have Fidelity also, and a lot of other banks. But you have to understand that BlackRock is like the top dog. Okay, if BlackRock is going to go into Bitcoin, then we're gonna have many others, and it's just going to be absolutely insane. We also have a price target by a bank called Standard Chartered, which is 50,000 by the end of the year and 120,000 by 2024. So this is huge price targets coming from these banks. And then we also have the Bitcoin halving. So in 275 days, what a Bitcoin halving is, it's basically harder to mine Bitcoin and it gets more scarce. So basic supply and demand tells us that if Bitcoin is getting more scarce, then there has to be more demand. So with the Bitcoin halving, every time we get a halving in the past, Bitcoin has had an incredible run. I'll probably make a whole video separate on this, but this is going to be a huge catalyst for 2024, and that is why I'm watching and paying close attention. This chart really tells us, every time we had the halving, we had a massive run up because it just gets scarce. On top of all the news and all the demand for Bitcoin, imagine the potential for the halving and the potential for 2024. So this is a pretty good website that kind of explains all of that. So let's get started into the chart. Subscribe with notifications on. We're trying to hit 5,000 subscribers. Let's get started. So I have these levels drawn, and I also have some past examples, so past breakouts. We had a consolidation phase, we had a capitulation phase with the FTX situation. There was a lot of bad blood here. I honestly should have bought in here, but man, I really thought it could go lower, and then we had this ascending triangle, and then we have this consolidation phase, and then we had a falling wedge, and now we are at the consolidation phase again. Okay, so consolidation phase again looks like this, where we are just trading sideways. So Bitcoin is trading sideways between 29,000 and 31,000. These are our two critical levels, and it really matters which side it decides to break out to. If we close above this level, then we are breaking out to the upside, and then to the downside if we break out to the downside. So these are the two levels that we are watching for Bitcoin. So let's talk about our bullish scenario. We definitely have, so we have a zone here, and then we have a zone here. So we're taking a look at these zones where spaces that we consolidate between. So if we do get a bullish scenario, this is going to be our next zone. So 35,000 to 38,000. And then our next zone is going to be around the 44,000. So these are our three zones that we are looking at. As you guys know, we go over a lot in this channel about the zones and the consolidation periods. So we are consolidating because we are getting ready for a move to the either side, and it depends upon which side we break out to. That is where we are going to head down to. So we go, to the downside. We have our support down here for Bitcoin. This is going to be a level around 24,000. So below 29,000, we have 24,000, and above 31,000, we have 35,000, and 38,000, which is going to be our next zone. So if you watch, a lot of my videos, just like with SPY, it's really the same thing. We consolidate, and then we enter in new zones, and then we trade between those zones. So that is a very, very similar scenario with Bitcoin. So overall, that is really it with the daily setup. Really depends upon where and which side we break out to. I'll keep you guys updated on Twitter. But that is overall it with the chart with Bitcoin. So again, I'm really into Bitcoin and the whole concept of Bitcoin. I'll probably make more videos on it, but I really recommend the book called The Bitcoin Standard, and just really understanding and learning more about Bitcoin and this technology, because I'll probably make a whole separate video on this. But if you really want to make like a lot of money, you have to invest into stuff that are kind of risky or weird. If you invest in Apple right now, you're not going to get the same amount of money if you invest in Bitcoin, because of the risk it involves. So this is like a very hard, in-depth analysis, especially when you're looking at investments. If you really want to make a lot more money, you have to invest into the unknown stuff and be willing to take those risks, and diversification and all of that. But I'll probably make a whole video on that. Subscribe with notifications on, and see you guys tomorrow, because tomorrow we're going to have the top stocks that I'm watching for tomorrow, and then we have the newsletter. And see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Enjoy your weekends.